Welcome Hammer fans. Sarah and I are at the Hardwood Hills Epic 8-hour. We're with the truck team over here. A couple of the riders in the Hammer sponsored truck team are here, and we got none other than world famous Peter Glassford here racing. I think they're killing everyone, and pulled Peter away to ask about what he eats before he comes to a race like this. Peter eats a pretty clean diet, so I know a lot of people are curious. So I said, Peter, this is not a hard hammer sales pitch. We just want to hear, how do you feel yourself before doing an 8-hour? So what did you have for breakfast, Peter?
So yeah, I definitely eat a paleo, whole foods type diet generally, and that's definitely the framework that I work in. So whenever I'm talking to people about nutrition and what they should do or what I do, I always say you want to have a framework that you're working from. So definitely most of the foods I eat are, whole foods, so a lot of meats, a lot of vegetables, and fruit and stuff in that. And then sort of to fuel performance, depending on what I'm doing in that day, we might get further away from what the Paleolithic sort of man may have eaten, right? So if we're out racing an 8-hour, that's, not super crazy, but something like a Leadville or something like that certainly is getting us more towards a fueling system that's going to be, more targeted at that. So that's where I would start using things like gels or things like whey protein to recover afterwards. So I think specific to the question for breakfast this morning, I had some eggs, some bacon, a bunch of kale on top of that, and a bunch of sweet potatoes. So, a lot of fat, a lot of protein in there, but then also lots of carbs with, again, sort of the sweet potato and, kale in there just for fiber and some nutrients and stuff. Everyone needs their kale. So that was breakfast.
So I was just thinking, before I came, we had probably at least 2 riders ask. One was asking how they fueled if they were doing the full 8-hour themselves, which is, in my mind, a little more straightforward on the hammer front. Perpetuum would be the go-to drink in my head. But what I think is interesting, and the truck guys are doing it, is they're swapping out laps. So they're on a relay team. So how would you feel if you're swapping out every lap, and how do you recover? So
yeah, so it definitely gets more tricky. I was just saying to Ryan, when we have this on-off sort of thing, this is similar to what, someone doing CrossFit or CrossFit Games type thing would be doing, these relays, an eliminator race, anything heat-based like BMX. It does get tricky because you want to, you have to endure through the day, but it's not the same as Ryan says with a solo 8-hour. Solo 8-hour, just keep it burning all day. The Perpetuum is really nice fuel, sort of simplifies the whole day for you. So for something like this, what we'll generally be using is recoverate between laps, so to sort of get recovered. We're generally going to have sort of an hour to 2 hours between for us with faster lap times. So you have a bit of time to sort of recover, so we'll have some recoverate. You'll see some of the folks using some bananas or some fruit and stuff. But certainly, a lot of, we'll do like a gel sort of on the line after warming up a little bit, and, that sort of gets you through the day. Ultimately, I was just saying to Ryan, 8 hours isn't that long of time, so it's just sort of that minimal amount of fuel to keep you going for each sort of stage of the day, each lap.
Awesome. Any other questions, Sarah, come to mind? Oh, we got Peter.
What is your favorite gel flavor?
I don't know, the hazelnut one, it's just come out, and I was, Ryan and I had this conversation, it was neat because it sort of has, a little different, it's got a little more fat and protein just because of the nuts in it. So both the peanut and the hazelnut, it's a little bit more, and so one, it tastes amazing. I have to be super careful that I keep it in a cupboard up high if I'm not using it. But definitely on race day, it definitely makes you happy, and I think that's half the battle on race day is to sort of fuel properly and then just also be a little happy. So.